You hear it all the time on the news, right? That one single number, the unemployment rate. But what if I told you that number is hiding something? It's not just a statistic. It's a headline that papers over thousands of real, individual human stories. So today, we're going to go behind that number and find out what it's really telling us about our economy. Okay, let's get into it.
See, behind that 1 percentage point, you've got at least 3 totally different things happening. You have someone whose factory job just got replaced by a robot. Then you have a recent college grad who's confidently looking for that perfect first job. And then you've got a server who was just laid off because of a big recession. They're all technically unemployed, but their situations and what they signal about the economy couldn't be more different. So what are these stories?
All right, so before we can really unpack those stories, we got to start with the basics. We need to get on the same page about what economists actually mean when they use the word unemployment. Because it turns out it's a little more complicated than just not having a job. Okay, so here's the official definition. To be counted as unemployed, you have to be in the workforce, you have to be willing and able to work, and, this is the key part, you have to be actively looking for a job. But this simple definition is exactly where all the important details get lost. It lumps everyone together, and that's why we have to break it down.
And this is where it starts to get really interesting. We're going to take that one big number and split it into its 3 main parts. Once you understand these different types, you can start to connect those personal stories we talked about to the huge economic policies that affect all of us.
First up, let's talk about structural unemployment. I want you to picture a skilled worker in a car factory. She's been doing her job for years, she's great at it, but the factory just brought in a new line of robots to do her work. All of a sudden, her skills aren't in demand anymore. She wants to work, she's able to work, but the very structure of the economy has changed right under her feet.
And that's the real challenge with structural unemployment. It's caused by these huge, game-changing shifts, like new technology or whole industries moving overseas. It's often a long-term problem because finding a new job isn't enough. It often means you have to learn entirely new skills. You have to retrain for the jobs of the future. And that's a really tough situation to be in.
Okay, now let's completely flip the script and look at a very different story. Imagine a graphic designer. She's really good at her job, and she just decided to leave her current company for an even better opportunity at a new one. But the new job doesn't start for another 3 weeks. So for those 3 weeks, she's technically unemployed. But is she worried? Not at all. This is what we call frictional unemployment. And here's the thing that might surprise you. Frictional unemployment isn't just normal, it's actually a sign of a healthy, vibrant economy. It means people feel confident enough to leave a job to find a better one. It's that natural friction that happens when people are moving up in their careers. So this type, it's a good thing.
Our third story is all about the big picture, the natural heartbeat of the economy. Think about a server at a popular restaurant. A big recession hits. Suddenly, people aren't eating out as much because they're trying to save money. The restaurant's profits take a nosedive, and they have to lay off half the staff, including our server. This is cyclical unemployment.
So this type has nothing to do with a person's skills or their career choices. It's tied directly to the business cycle. It's caused by a big drop in demand for goods and services across the entire economy. Now, the good news here is that when the economy bounces back and people start spending again, these are the jobs that tend to come back.
Okay, let's just pause and put all of that together for a second. You've got structural, which signals a huge, deep change in the economy. You've got frictional, which actually signals a healthy, dynamic job market. And then you have cyclical, which is the alarm bell for an economic downturn. When you see it laid out like this, it's so obvious why you can't just treat all unemployment as the same problem.
So now that we've got the 3 types down, let's zoom out. Because unemployment isn't just a tough spot for one person. It sends these powerful ripples out across the entire economy. Let's trace how that works.
It all starts with one person losing their paycheck. Well, that means they have less money to spend. And when millions of people spend less, businesses start to feel it. Their revenues drop. That can lead to even more layoffs. And as all this is happening, the government is collecting less in taxes, which puts a squeeze on public services. It's a real chain reaction.
And the impacts just keep spreading. The country's total economic output, its GDP, starts to fall because we're not using our full workforce. At the same time, the government has to spend more money on things like unemployment benefits, right when it's bringing in less tax revenue. And for businesses, it's a weird situation. It might be easier to hire people, but if nobody's buying your products, who can you afford to bring on?
Okay, so if unemployment causes all these headaches, the goal has to be 0%, right? You would think so. But this is where we get to probably the most surprising and maybe the most important part of this whole explainer.
Let me just ask it directly. After everything we've talked about, should a country's main economic goal be to get the unemployment rate down to absolute zero? Well, the answer is, believe it or not, no. And the reason why is hidden in those 3 types we just went over.
And this is why. You have to split the idea of unemployment into 2 buckets. In one bucket, you've got the harmful types, cyclical and structural. That's the stuff that reflects real economic pain and wasted potential. But in the other bucket, you've got frictional unemployment. That's what economists call natural unemployment. It's actually a sign of a healthy economy where people are moving around to find better jobs. You want that to happen.
And that really is the bottom line. Most economists will tell you the goal isn't 0% unemployment. A small amount, mostly that short-term frictional kind, is actually necessary. It means the job market is working the way it's supposed to. The real battle that needs to be fought is against that long-term, painful, structural, and cyclical unemployment.
So, I'm going to leave you with one final question to think about. As technology like AI and automation just keeps accelerating, which one of these stories is going to become our story? Are we going to see a huge rise in structural unemployment as more and more skills become obsolete? Or will all this new tech create so many new opportunities that we just see more healthy, frictional job hopping? Understanding the difference is probably the first step to making sure we get the future we want.